You're listening to the Epically Geeky Show, a place for all things geeky.
Welcome back to the Epically Geeky Show episode. Well, actually, it's not one of our normal episodes. It is a special edition. We're going to be talking about Rogue One tonight. Our opening question is, because much like this movie, we're going to kind of change things up a little bit. So, with that said, I guess we're just going to go ahead and start with our first impressions of watching the movie. Now, most of us, I think, I've seen it twice. Sai, how many times have you seen it?
I was actually watching it again right before we started this, so I got about halfway through. So I watched it one and a half times.
Once?
I'm sorry?
You've seen it once or twice?
I've only seen it once.
Hey, you've seen it once?
Yep, just the once.
All right, cool. Which, by the way, welcome back, Jay. I guess let's just go around real quick and just give just a brief statement of your thoughts of the movie. We'll start with
it was disappointing.
Lainey?
I really enjoyed it. And I, more than anything, I'm just kind of stoked for maybe what this is going to mean for other Star Wars movies down the line.
Jay?
It wasn't bad, you know. Obviously, we knew what the outcome was going to be. I mean, with Star Wars history, but I'm still more partial to Force Awakens.
Okay. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to rank it because I've already heard people already tried to do this. Well, where would you put it in the now 8 movies?
No.
And I'm not going to do that. Let's just go ahead and dive into it. First and foremost, surely if you're listening to this, yes, spoilers. We're going to be spoiling the hell out of this thing. It yet. Number one, why are you listening to the Epically Geeky Show? But I digress. Stuff comes up. All right, Sai.
Speaking of things coming up,
I've been
by
drinking.
the way, I guess I should mention it is currently
Molly.
it's currently about 10:30 at night, at least Central Standard Time, as we're recording this. So we're about an hour and a half away from 2017. So yeah, some of us have had a little something to drink, maybe a lot of it.
Yeah.
So take that for what it's worth.
What is it worth? What is that worth? What is that? What does that expression really mean? Like when you think about it. Is that what that means? 2 cents? Dude,
Oh my God.
you're blowing my mind right now. When someone says take it for what it's worth, and you say, well, that's
blowing his mind.
That's fucking awesome. Hell yeah. That's why you're in charge.
Sure. All right. Well, I guess we'll just hit it chronologically. The reason why I did not have an opening question is this was announced before the movie came out that there is no opening crawl. Sai and I.
There is an opening crawl. It's the opening of the movie is a crawl.
Really? There's no opening crawl at the beginning of the movie. We do at least get a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
And that's all
and then I really wish there was an opening crawl.
I don't.
Why not?
Because this isn't an episode. It's
Every
not,
Star Wars video
but
game.
it's not an episode. It's not. It's supposed to take place right before A New Hope. I went into the theater looking at this as something totally different.
Well, youngling.
You were expecting something different from Star
I might
Wars.
be younger than everybody, but I have watched the original trilogy more times than I can count. Like, I don't know. I really did go into it not expecting
So you
the
weren't
same exact thing as every other Star Wars movie.
So you weren't expecting Star Wars.
Because it's not like part of the, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how to explain it. I truly just went into it thinking, okay, well, this isn't part of like the main storyline. This is something kind of.
You know what you sound like right now? You sound like somebody that voted for Donald Trump.
We all know that that's not true.
I'm sorry, I'm being an ass.
Yes, you are, but that's okay. But no, like I said, I enjoyed it, but again, I didn't go into it expecting it to look and sound and feel the exact same way as all the other Star Wars movies that I like.
Let me ask you this in a serious way, and I'm not trying to be an ass, although I am drunk, so it happens.
Go for it.
What I'm trying to say is, you said you're okay with there not being a crawl, and okay, that's fair. I'm being fair here.
Right.
You're fine with there not being a crawl because this was different, right? That's the reasoning behind that. Wouldn't you have? But my question is, if there was a crawl, would you have felt like that took away somehow, or that was wrong?
No, I don't think it would have taken away from it, but I think it would have felt if there had been a crawl, I think it would have felt almost like they were still trying to like set it up as like another episode of the saga, as opposed to.
Okay, now, let me ask you a question. That's an interesting perspective. Have you played? And there's no wrong answer, so don't think I'm calling you out.
I know. Go ahead.
Okay. Have you played a lot of Star Wars video games over the years?
No, I don't really. I have been in the presence of a lot of Star Wars video games, but I don't really do video games.
Okay, see,
so
I
that
think
could
that
have something to do with
right.
it.
This might have something to do with my perspective and some other people's perspective about why there should have been a crawl.
Absolutely.
I fall into that. And it's exactly. Every game has had a crawl. Every type of media that Star Wars has always had the crawl. That's just been there. That's. I don't think it took away from it. It added anything to it.
I got a question.
I would have preferred it to have been there.
I got a question, and I wish to God Rudy was here because he would know. Do the cartoons have crawls?
I think he said the Rebels cartoon doesn't, but I don't know about the Clone Wars.
I don't think that those had a crawl either.
If the cartoons don't have crawls, then I'm going to give them a pass on this, because that means they've already established that that's what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just making that observation. I don't know though, because
I agree with that.
Yeah.
If it's already established, like in the canon, then it makes sense, right?
I hate that term.
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of another word, but you know what I mean. If it's like already an established like structure thing, then it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of what I thought. I was like, oh, of course, there's not a crawl. This isn't.
No, I find it interesting that you're cool with it and you actually appreciated that there wasn't a crawl, because that's a different way of thinking than what I have.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about that line of thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that that's wrong. And that's why I asked so many questions about it.
That's fine. Yeah, no, like I said, the crawl thing didn't bother me. I know that really irked a lot of people, but I don't think they were bothered by it for the same reason that you were. I think they were just bothered by it because they don't know anything about Star Wars.
Right. What about you, Jay? What do you think about it?
I, being a Star Wars fan, kind of wish, it was there. It would have felt, I don't know. I got so tingly and happy whenever I saw it when the Force Awakens came out.
Yeah, it was really cool, right? On Force Awakens. I mean, this kind of leads to another subject. Do you mind me kind of transitioning you?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And Jay, I want to hit you on this first. The nostalgia, like callbacks to old Star Wars stuff. I've got a bad feeling about this, and typical type Star Wars things, and then cameos and all this kind of stuff. Did you feel like comparative, like if you were to compare this to what they did with The Force Awakens, do you feel like there was like this was too much, too little? Do you think The Force Awakens did it better, or this did okay, or what do you think about that?
I think The Force Awakens did it better.
Okay. I kind of don't. I'm sorry. Like, this is where I kind of have to say I think that Rogue One had some positives, and one of them was that I think it handled that kind of stuff better. Now, I think the execution wasn't necessarily the best, especially with some of the edits of things that didn't fit necessarily, like with the fighter pilots from the old Star Wars being cut in and made to seem like they were part of what was going on. It just didn't feel right to me. There were some things like that. And then, of course, some of the CGI. But I felt, honestly, if I had one criticism of The Force Awakens, and the only real criticism I've ever had of The Force Awakens is I felt like we were being pandered to a little bit.
Yeah, there's almost a little too much fan service.
I do feel that way. I've seen it several times now, and I love The Force Awakens. Don't get me wrong. I know we're not supposed to criticize Star Wars, but yeah, I felt like maybe we got a little, like maybe we were being kind of condescended to just a little bit.
I agree.
Well, see, we're agreeing.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I love The Force Awakens, but like a nod here and there is one thing, but it almost felt a little too much at times, you know. And they're gonna have to slowly wean off of that too.
Yeah, Eugene.
But see, I feel like they had to, at least in The Force Awakens.
No, I agree. I agree with that too.
Absolutely, it was like a necessary evil that needed to happen.
I still think the prequels. I'm gonna go into the prequels. But the prequels left a huge division in the Star Wars community, and they had to do that much fan service in The Force Awakens to kind of smooth that over. As for,
well, I want Jay to go into a little more detail about. Jay was saying the original question was which one did it better. I was kind of wanting Jay to kind of expand a little before we moved on to something else. Are you available for that question, Jay?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess maybe I was just halfway asleep and missed a lot of the references in this one.
No, that's fair. It was boring halfway through the movie. It was boring. That's true. So
pacing got a little slow. Pacing was a little slow at the beginning.
Okay, let's talk about that because Sai's already mentioned that about the editing. We start the movie with the opening scene. The opening scene of the movie is Galen Erso in it, and the Empire is coming for him. And then, basically he goes through, we see the blue milk, which I thought was a nice little nod there.
Man, I want some of that blue milk.
And then he goes out and he goes to confront what is his name?
Krennic.
Yes, he goes out to confront Krennic. And then we see, his wife is killed in front of him and his daughter, and Jen runs off. Then we see Saul show up for literally just like half a second to rescue her. Then we get, Rogue One. It then cuts to her in prison.
That music is so bad, too.
Do what?
That music is so bad.
We'll get to the music in a little bit.
Right.
And then and then we start jumping around. Watching it the second time, I still enjoyed seeing all these different planets that were, number one, not planets that we had seen before. That's been a big criticism of the prequels and such, is that, we kept visiting the same damn planets over and over and over again. Yeah, seeing all these other planets was kind of cool. I will say the editing was kind of choppy at the beginning. I think they had to put that part in there with her showing where she is in prison right afterwards, because otherwise I don't know if people would know exactly where the callback was, because literally we see her in prison, and then the next thing we see is them busting her out of but we also get to meet we get to see this planet, and that's where we first meet Cassian. And he's getting information from someone else. And, he's supposed to be one of our good guys. He's supposed to be one of the people we're rooting for. He's on the rebellion. He's a person we're supposed to be pulling for. Cold blood.
Yeah.
And this is, I've heard some other people talking about this, and this is a point that was brought up to me, and I really agree with. I don't know if it's more technical issues you had problems with the movie side, but A New Hope was World War II. We know who the bad guys were. We know who the good guys were. Very clear lines. The bad guys do bad stuff. The good guys do good stuff. Rogue One was more like Vietnam. Like it was very,
where everybody is.
muddled. You have the Empire, who is genuinely trying to bring peace, at least their version of peace, but they're trying to bring peace to the universe by building a weapon that can seemingly destroy the planet. Like a first world country that we all know of. And the rebels, who we're supposed to be pulling for, are the underdogs that are, kind of infighting and everything else. And it's a very... with the story, I actually enjoyed seeing the rebels not being this super organized, very, very clean cut. They're obviously like, I liked seeing this. Listen, we're doing what we have to do, and hopefully, the ends justify the means, but in some cases
Still
it may not, because
guerrilla organization.
Yes. So I liked seeing that version of the rebellion, because the only other time we see the rebellion are in the movies, and they're always the underdogs, but they're always hammered on and everything else. And this time we actually see them like, rebellious shit, and it's dirty, and it's hard, and it's people are getting hurt.
I rebel, which wasn't in the movie.
Right. We'll get to that too. So anyway, we get to meet some of our characters. We get some of their backstories and stuff, and then we start grouping them together. And then we're introduced to K2SO, played by Alec Tudyk.
Oh yeah.
I did not realize until after this movie, when I think Sai, you're the one that brought it up, he was completely CGI.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not once did I question that at all. Like, I thought for sure they used an animatronic, at least when they could. Because
he was awesome.
He was really awesome. Good. He was an awesome character. I loved seeing that character.
So funny.
Well, that's the funny thing, is half the time you couldn't tell if he was going for humor but it was just so straight laced. It was, I love that. I'll be there for you, because Cassie told me I had to. That got a huge laugh in the theater.
I love the scene where he's like, they'll like, we'll all be blown up and die in the vacuum of space. And he's like, I won't.
I won't. I'll be fine, but
you know what the chances of her using that gun are against you? No. It's very high.
I love when he walks in at did you know that wasn't me?
Yeah. He's like, oh, but I'll just go wait in the ship.
Yeah.
That killed me. I died laughing.
The humor in this was written very well.
Very well. That was a thing. It wasn't like in your face, and it was just enough to kind of lighten. I don't know. I like when movies add in, like, even very serious movies add in a little bit of humor, because I don't think that you can really get like the gravitas of something if you don't have a little bit of fun in there.
What's funny about this movie is the first movie I ever remember this happening. There was two really emotional moments in the movie, I felt, where I really was like, you kind of get the feels, and one of them, and they both involved a robot. Okay. The first one was when she gives him the gun.
Oh, that was sweet.
And he was like, it was like, I don't know. And then of course, when he doesn't make it, those were my two moments in the movie that I was like, well, those were, as far as that kind of feeling. There was one other moment that was different feeling, but as far as that kind of feeling. Yeah, the robot. What a great character.
That was a great droid. I loved it.
I find that fascinating that the best character in the movie was a droid.
Was a droid. That didn't surprise me at all. Yeah. My favorite character has always been a 10-foot tall Sasquatch.
You know, I have another thing that I want to say.
Okay.
If Rogue One served no other purpose, I appreciate it for this one thing, and that's that it forever puts to rest this whole joke about the Death Star's weakness. You know?
Made sense. It wasn't some bullshit reason either.
Right.
No.
I thought that Mads Mikkelsen, when he explained it in the hologram or whatever, was the perfect way to address that issue and for all time settle this shit. And I really appreciate that. I really do.
I agree. And it was very logical. It wasn't super convoluted. You couldn't really argue it. I loved that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so speaking of, just kind of still going through it. So, they're told they take her back, they take her to the rebel base, and we see Mon Mothma.
Jay, what do you think?
I thought that scene went well. Jay?
Jay might be busy.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
The scene, I think, worked for me. What about you, Sai?
Absolutely. That was great. Mon Mothma was fantastic. I totally buy into when they, and I've brought this up before, if you're going to bring back a character and it's going to be a different actor, that's cool. But, we're going to get into the CGI thing with this, okay? Because the Mon Mothma thing, it's not the same actress, but I'm fine with that, okay? I'm fine with that. It's not going to be the same actress. Show me another actress. Okay, she's good. She fits the role. She's got the mannerisms. I buy in. Yes, that's our new Mon Mothma. Ewan McGregor had to do the same shit with Obi-Wan Kenobi, okay? Ewan McGregor comes in, and we're like, okay, that's the new Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that's why Ewan McGregor could be Obi-Wan Kenobi in another movie. And even close to the same age as what Alec Guinness was, and I would still be cool with that. Because he's established, we're established, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's fine.
I agree.
My issue is different with the CGI.
Okay. So we've got... Okay. We're told, Cassian's told, look, this is not a rescue mission. Whenever you see him, you kill him. Then we go through the whole the whole funny thing.
I like that.
About the weapon.
I liked him a lot, by the way. Cassian.
Cassian.
Yeah, he's a good character.
I love Diego. So even if it was a terrible character, I probably would have been fine with it.
Do what?
I love Diego Luna, the actor.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. And he's a really good actor. And I've loved him. I've loved him in everything I've ever seen him in.
Yeah, but would you? I mean, come on, let's be honest.
Go home, Roger. But
I liked Cassian's character because he had depth. Like he was like, okay, I'm a rebel, and he even they get into that later on. It's convenient that you joined the rebellion. I've been this has been my life.
I love when he called her out like that, though. I appreciated that.
Yeah,
I do. I loved Cassian. I thought he was a great character, very well written. I appreciated it.
Yeah, he's good. A pilot kind of sucked, but he was good.
We end up on the planet, and then we're introduced to two more of our rebellious characters, Chirrut and Baze, aka the blind guy. Yeah, and the blind guy and the guy with the badass gun. And I loved both of these characters.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I have a question for you.
All right.
Yes, the Force is with me, and I'm one with the Force.
Oh, he was cool. The dude with the big gun, he said, there was something where he wanted to kill the pilot. Do you remember that?
Yes.
What was that about?
Because he just said he was a.
Was that what it was about?
That's
yeah,
what
he was an Imperial pilot, and that's all that he knew at that point. And so he was like, "Well, I'm just gonna fucking kill him."
Oh, okay. I didn't really completely understand that. I was like, "Why does he want to kill him?"
And then Cassian was like, wait a minute, we need that guy.
We need him. Yeah.
Put the gun down."
Which we get a scene that is very, the Empire. Granted, the Empire is doing an evil deed, but is doing it very, they're going through the town. They've got their armed guards or whatever. They're actively not hurting anyone, and then they're ambushed.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to jump in real quick. Those stormtroopers and that tank looked so fucking awesome. They did a really good job with that.
They were hella dope.
Yes, I love that guerrilla type fighting in the streets, and then
that
of course,
awesome.
To bring in the big gun was literally to bring in an ATST. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
We get Donnie Yen's stand out, his little thing, and then that was hilarious when he had some of the best lines in the whole movie. He's like
the funniest lines.
Yeah. Yes, hands down. I know exactly what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Well, when they put the bag over his head, it was so
really,
it was
really
so fucking funny.
It was so good.
Great. That was really good.
Okay, so about this time we're introduced to a another character from major Star Wars lore, but they did not go the route of recasting, and that is our okay. We obviously have a big split here, but it definitely was very uncanny valley to me in that. Not right. It was like, this is obviously not a human. I watched it the second time, and I said this to Sai before he started his rewatch today. The second time I watched it, it actually bothered me less, and I don't know if it's because I knew it was coming, but the whole time I kept watching and I kept going, a good job on the eyes or with the motions or whatever. Than I remembered them using him, but they used him quite a bit in the movie.
It just
could have been. They probably could have done some of it where, like looking over his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't have to go
because that you saw him so much. Like that was one of the few things that did kind of take me out of the movie for a second.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, because like you saw him so often.
Like I said, had it maybe been, I mean, I know it was supposed to, the Death Star was very brightly lit. I mean, it always was in the original.
Yes.
So I didn't want to, but it's really dark in this room or whatever. That would be kind of a bullshit thing. But if they had just like maybe done his reflection in a window or him, like I said, looking over his shoulder and maybe occasionally turned around or whatever,
that would have been fine.
But for the most part, it worked okay for me. It's just, it is what it is. Now, let me ask you this, because I've heard people have conversations about this as well. Do you think he had to have been in the movie?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Really?
I don't think so. No, let me take that back. I think he needed to have some presence in the movie.
Okay.
But I think they could have done it in such a way to where you never saw his. I'm just saying, like, there's movies throughout the years where they have all these complicated scenes where you never see the face of the actor, where they do all these clever, like, camera movements and cuts and things to avoid that. And then when you see the actor, you just see them like their profile, or you see like they're not talking at the same time as you see their face. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's what I don't get. Like, they knew this tech that they have didn't work 100% when they used it in Tron. They knew that. And they still used it. And they used it a lot, like you're saying. And it was almost like intentional, like to be like, let's see how the audience reacts to this much CGI of this.
And it could have been.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'll be honest, I've heard a lot of reviews and a lot of people, less geeky people have actually were like, I didn't realize it was an actor. It wasn't an actor.
Bullshit. I did because I knew he was dead. But
how do you not know? I watched it in the theater with the big, huge screen in 3D, and then I watched it again bootleg, maybe. And I can tell it's fake even with the crappy picture. Like, it's obvious that it's not real. Like, if you're looking at him, I don't know how you can honestly state that you didn't know that there was something wrong there. We pick up the human brain and the human eye can detect if something's not right. They know that. Hollywood knows that. They have studies on that. There's all this, stuff that they put out there to, pat themselves on the back on how good a job they've done on CGI over the years, where they talk about how we detect if something's not quite right and how difficult it is to get past that uncanny valley that you talk about. And if somebody's telling me, well, I didn't notice, then I'm like, well, then you weren't paying attention.
And like I said, that may have been the thing. They may have just been casually, but
yeah, anyway. That's exactly. It's either that or they're doing this rose-colored glasses thing, which is what a lot do. I think there's a huge amount of that going on. Don't get me wrong. I am the same. Believe me, I'm a Star Wars nut. I am as big a Star Wars nut as anybody. And for me to criticize a Star Wars movie, it feels like I'm a traitor. But the fact is, I have to be honest. And if I see something and it's not right, I'm not going to sit here and
say something.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, "Oh, I didn't notice there was CGI."
I 100% noticed that he was CGI. It just didn't bother me quite as much as it bothered most people. That's not to say that it wasn't a little bit ridiculous.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
It truly didn't. It just didn't bug me as much as I knew it was going to bug a lot of other people. I just kind of saw it and went, okay, I get it.
Lainey, let me just say this. You actually probably have the correct opinion here because
I just don't get bothered by that stuff as badly.
Let me explain.
Go ahead.
We talked earlier about precedent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's plenty of precedent in the Star Wars movies for shitty CGI.
Exactly. And maybe that's what I was getting at. I was like, well, this could be a lot worse. We all know.
You have a fucking point.
Yeah. Good God.
It was pretty obvious that it was, CGI, and I don't know how anybody didn't pick up on it.
I'm not saying. Okay, let me back up a second. I'm not saying it was shitty. Like, it wasn't like.
I mean, it was good CGI.
It was noticeable.
It was just.
It wasn't
wasn't as bad as like Polar Express or like Christmas Carol.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It wasn't like watching the Polar Express, which is just like weird. Even though I have a soft place in my heart for that movie now because of my boys, but watching that movie is just like, especially the first time I watched it, I was just like,
I fucking hate it. It's creepy as hell.
It is creepy as hell.
Like, what is this, Beast Wars? Like, what the fuck?
He looked Jar Jar.
Jar Jar? Oh no. Well, Jar Jar was more believable because Jar Jar was an alien. This wasn't human. Exactly. This was supposed to be a human, and
it's hard to get that.
And that's the problem.
It's really hard.
Exactly. That's where the uncanny valley thing comes in, is because if we watch an anamorphic dog or a robot or something like that, we can forgive it. But when it's a human being, we know how we're supposed to look and act and talk,
and not just a human being. Peter fucking Cushing, who's been in Star Wars. And we're obviously going to compare this. I mean, this movie's supposed to take place right before fucking New Hope. So
which is why I think now see here's where the problem comes in. You're right. It happens literally like probably a day before New Hope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they had to have him and they wanted him to look like he did, continuity wise.
I thought the voice was
goes
fine.
Back to
there's been a lot of
it was fine. It was a little at the beginning. Sometimes some of the inflection I think was a little weird.
But again, that goes back to me being like, look, you got another actor, fine. That's cool. In fact, the actor they got to do the stand-in for Tarkin kind of looks like Tarkin. And if they had just said, "Oh, here's the new Tarkin," I would have been like, "Okay." And I would have too. They didn't even need to do the fucking CGI. That's what gets me.
And now that we're talking about this and going back to Mon Mothma, that's where I'm starting to have a little of an issue. Ask Mon Mothma, why didn't you just do Tarkin that way? Or if you were dead set on doing Tarkin, then why didn't you do Mon Mothma the same way?
You're right, dude. And maybe that's why it's such an issue, because we have that direct comparison. Here's a role. It's a replacement actor. We're all cool. Not one fucking person that I've ever heard anywhere at any time has had an issue with Mon Mothma. Not one fucking person.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that? I don't get it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I have to definitely, not that this is a debate, but I definitely have to see that to you. So,
well, dude, I'm not. Again, let me make myself clear. I'm not saying this movie sucked.
No,
I'm saying I'm disappointed because there's shit that they shouldn't have done.
You know what? And I meant to start this conversation off that way. I meant to bring up our original point. And I'm just going to do it now. Cy and I've had several conversations, and I think you're the one that brought this up. And I don't remember if you brought this up on this show, on the previous show, or off air or what. But, we've got to this point in society where, like, it either has to be the greatest movie ever or absolute garbage. And it doesn't have to be that way. Right. Like, movie, for certain parts, there were parts that you had a problem with. It was not the greatest Star Wars movie in your mind. I'm guessing it's also not the worst.
No, it's definitely not the worst.
No,
it falls somewhere in the middle. And you know what? Literally. That's perfectly fine. And even if it wasn't, it doesn't matter anyway. It's your opinion, so it's perfectly fine. So, whoever you end up siding with, if you are siding with anyone at the end of this thing, whether or not you liked my opinion more, Lainey's opinion, or Jay or Sire, or whatever, it's your opinion. You have your opinion, and
I like Lainey's opinion.
Thanks.
Anyway,
Lainey's opinion fuck
it. So we have the thing. They go to the planet. They have the crash landing. They almost kill. Almost kills Galen. That's how it says his name. Galen.
It's Galen.
Yeah. And he doesn't. And then the rebels come in, and we get this pretty awesome, badass TIE fighter fight, which, I'm always not TIE fighter, X-Wing fight, which I'm always down for X-Wing fights. Galen dies. He does get to see Jin for a second. Then they get on the ship, and we have this where we were talking about earlier, where Cassian and Jin kind of get into a confrontation with the rebellion, and about doing dirty work and doing what you have to do for a cause.
Right.
We get back to the rebel base, which, by the way, let's go ahead and just talk about this now. One of the biggest things you said you had a problem with this movie was the music.
Oh, God.
Definitely was nothing stand out about any of the music in this movie. The only times it really hit me, the callbacks to the original score.
Yeah.
That's when I got, I had the feelings was the callbacks, but none of the other music really stood out to me. And then
and that made me sad because John Williams scores always really stand out to me.
Yeah, but that's
not
the
John
thing.
Williams.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Tell her about this.
Yeah, the guy that did the score only had 3 weeks to do it because they fired the original composer. Yeah.
Oh, well, why didn't they get Michael Giacchino?
I don't understand at all. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's a Star Wars movie. I could name 4 composers right now who would have done it.
Let me just
done
say
a great job.
Guys, if you get a chance, go back and watch the first 30 minutes of this movie because I just finished watching it right before we did this. The music is fucking bad. It's not even well, it doesn't quite. No, it's horrible. It's pieces of music for one thing. It's not like this score. Okay. It's not like a long score of music. It's like just little chunks of music, and those chunks fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like the opening where they show the title is the worst, cheesiest fucking music. It's like something out of a fucking parody of Star Wars.
Yeah, that is exactly what it sounds like.
It sucks bad. I'm not even. I went into watching it the second time going, okay, maybe this isn't as bad. And I got to that moment and I was like, fuck.
That's one thing that did upset me was just the poor quality of the
music is horrible. The music
I knew that John Williams wasn't going to be here, and I had prepared myself for that, but I didn't realize that they had like ousted the dude like right before and had only given this new guy like 3 weeks. That's not fair. Nobody can do that good of a not for a movie like that. You need a long time to really do your research and prepare.
I have drank a lot of beers.
I can tell. But yeah, and to like really score it, because even like the little pieces of like newer music in Force Awakens, like Rey's theme, it's beautiful, and it's
no, this music is fucking garbage. It sounded like shitty Star Trek the TV, like the what was that last Star Trek show?
It sounded like music that
Enterprise?
was created for a TV show.
Yeah, it sounded like
it really did. It sounded like music created for a TV show.
It was bad, and if you listen to it again, you will agree because it is fucking bad.
Yeah, it made me really sad.
Okay,
would have been better.
Real quick, Happy New Year, Jay.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year, Jay.
Okay, so
Happy
the
New
music,
Year,
music not so good. The score on the the sound effects on the other hand, I loved. The sounds of being on the Death Star, the sounds of the Rebel base,
the TIE fighters.
For me, those were all great.
Yeah, that's great because
I'm just saying the sound design was fine, but the music fell down.
I got all the satisfying Star Wars sounds that I like.
Well, since we're talking about sound, maybe we should talk about Darth Vader.
All right, so let's go and jump to Vader.
Okay. Well, since you bring it up.
Okay, since I brought it up. People have brought up the fact, why did he build essentially a castle on the planet where he got fucked up? And
he's Darth Vader.
That's actually from the books, right?
Yeah. There is an actual backstory to that.
Yeah. That's what I've been told. It's one of those pieces of
because let me tell you something. We got done watching this movie and we were standing outside in the mall, and I was bitching about this. I was saying, well, that's kind of stupid. Like, that's kind of cheesy. Like, oh, Darth Vader has to have his super evil castle in the lava planet. And man, was like, that's from the fucking books. And I was like, oh, never mind.
Parker did okay. Parker did the same thing to me, and I was like, oh, okay, drama queen, we get it. And then Parker was like,
nerd.
Hey. Yeah. Like, you do know that that's from
okay, so we got basically two big scenes with Vader. And the first one is
Jay, feel free to jump in at any time.
Dude. What's his name? Oh, I forgot it. Krennic. We get Krennic being summoned to Vader. Now, man, I've heard a lot of people. Some of the griping I've heard about the movie. I was Darth Vader involved in essentially an HR problem. What? And they're like, he had a problem. He built the Death Star, and someone else took it over, and now he's whining, and he's going to complain to the Emperor. And then it was pointed out, well, no, he didn't go. He was summoned. Let's change things because the way originally I thought it was like, okay, well, of course he's not going to be able to get to the Emperor. There's no way he's going to be able to go and complain to the Emperor. So who can he complain to that he can get to? Who's the next step down? And that would be Vader. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the case. He was summoned there. Yeah, I guess I understand.
Okay, it does change that. It does change that.
Yeah, and maybe where you're thinking, oh, well, it was more of an HR thing. But then I think about it. Let me see. You just built the super weapon for the Emperor, he's probably going to put his top man on it to make sure that shit's not getting fucked up.
Yeah, girl.
It's interesting. If Vader, you're saying Vader summoned Krennic.
Yeah, he did
So
something.
that makes more sense because I was like,
the second time he was summoned.
I was like, man, he had to get all dressed up and shit and get out of his water tank.
He basically told, he was basically told, come here. And then, when he shows up on the planet, that's why he's like that, everything is fine with the Emperor's new weapon. You want to fuck up.
I really would have liked to seen those scenes that are in the trailer. I really would have liked to see.
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, like half the movie is missing.
Yeah.
So
from the trailer.
Absolutely, you're right. You're absolutely right. We're gonna get to it whenever Eugene feels like it's appropriate.
Oh yes. Well, I wanted to do this first part with Vader. Okay, so Vader comes out. He has his little thing. Definitely did not look. The Vader looked a little odd.
Yeah, he did. He looked weird, right? He looked weird.
But I didn't care.
And you know why he looked weird? Because they went back to the suit from the original A New Hope.
Oh, that is why.
Well, that's part of it, but I would have to see some pictures and do some comparison because something doesn't line up right. Like,
I think that to me, it's the neck piece.
Yeah,
but going back and watching A New Hope, the neck piece is definitely wider, and that's what I picked up on this one too. Was the neck looks wider, and it's. But what did you think about the choke?
Loved it.
What I didn't. Okay.
And Krennic loved it too.
Let me just say this. I thought the pun was a little much.
I will agree the pun was a little much.
I don't think Darth Vader talks like that. It didn't seem like something Darth Vader would ever say. Like it was like
yeah, it didn't sound like Darth Vader.
At first, I thought the same thing, but then if you think about number one, the choke had to be there. Because that's his thing. He choked his wife in episode 3. He choked people in episode 4, episode 5, and episode 6. So if he didn't choke someone, granted, he did choke some people later on, but we'll get to that in a second. The pun, yeah, but I mean, if you think back to Empire, he freaking choked out several dudes. It was like apology accepted.
But Empire, he was smooth as fucking silk. Okay, Darth Vader was a fucking gangster in Empire. Let's just be straight up. He choked the dude without even moving. He's sitting in his fucking chair and choked the dude. He didn't have to do his little Crip sign to choke somebody.
Gang symbols.
You know what I mean?
With side, break your back.
Yeah. It was just a little. It was
a little much. I will give. Yeah, I have to say that it was a little much, but
I can live with it. It's fine.
I didn't mind it.
So before we move on, since it's been brought up about the trailer, a lot of speculation about this, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the trailer that did not show up in the movie, and it's flat out not there. The biggest one for me was into the movie when she's on the scaffolding trying to go out to reset the TIE in the trailer. The TIE fighter shows up.
Yeah,
not there at all in the movie.
I don't even know how
that was the big thing.
Yeah, I don't even know what the reasoning or explanation for that is. I don't know how you make sense of that. A TIE fighter doesn't even fly that way.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Like it's just
if they hover like when they're just about to take off, but then again it's like why was it not in full motion I don't know. And my understanding is the hypothesis is, this movie was supposed to end a lot differently because there are scenes of all of our heroes running out onto the sand.
Right. And Krennic's going across the water with his fucking shit in the water. I mean, come on. That's one of the scenes that sold us on Krennic. The shit where his cape or whatever it is like dragging in the fucking sand behind him as he looks like a fucking badass. Like, they really toned his character down. They really did.
It was very disappointing.
Yeah. No, it was. I'm glad. Thank you, Jay, for voicing that. Krennic was very disappointing. He was built up to be this, like, different kind of villain. Something that was different and unique and interesting, and he was none of that. And I was so upset about that. I was like, really? Ugh. Anyway. The fucking trailer, man. The fucking trailer. Dude, how much of the trailer is actually in the movie? Because it's actually easier to pick out all the scenes that aren't in the movie. Because almost none of that shit is in there. Not just the TIE fighter scene, all this other stuff that we're talking about. And your explanation of why you're okay with it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. You've said that you're cool with it because you would rather not know what's in the movie, and you're cool with being shown a bunch of shit that's not in the movie. And I'm like, wow. Like, imagine if every entertainment product did that. Like, oh man, that's a badass looking scene for the new Castlevania, but that's not in the fucking Castlevania game. Oh, okay, well, whatever. Oh, that's a badass fucking scene that's in that new TV show. It's not. None of that's in the TV show, but we're okay with it with Star Wars for some reason.
I'm okay with it. Now, here's my explanation. I'm okay with it because it sold me on the idea and the feeling of the movie. Hold on.
But none of that's in the movie.
Sorry.
Krennic is in the movie. The emotions that you attach to that scene where he's walking through was nothing.
The feelings they created by showing the scenes were good.
I still thought that the movie overall, like the trailer and the movie, still both overall had the same, like, I don't know, I hate to use this word because you've already said it like 16 times, but feeling like throughout the trailer and the movie. Because when Eugene and I were talking about like how the trailer was so different from the movie and a lot of that stuff wasn't in there, it just reminded me of when Suicide Squad was coming out.
Yeah.
And we got those first couple of trailers and I was shown this wonderful, dark, amazing movie. Totally. And then what I went and saw felt completely different.
Totally.
Were all the scenes in the trailer for Suicide Squad in the movie?
No. There's a bunch, dude. There's a special edition of Suicide
Squad that apparently I'm still not going to be happy with. So.
I'm drunk. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the special edition of that movie is very different. Okay, there's a lot of different shit. I am hopeful, naively maybe hopeful, that we're going to get a special edition of this because that movie they showed in the trailer looks way better.
The movie does look pretty badass in the trailer.
That's the movie that I thought was going to be my favorite Star Wars movie of all the Star Wars.
But like I said, the feeling wasn't as different. Like with Suicide Squad, it was like these were two totally different movies, like in general. Like they weren't the same thing at all.
You're right.
No. But with this, at least it was like, okay, that's not in there. That's not in there. I can live with that. But at least it still feels like the same movie.
The Suicide Squad thing is ridiculous.
That was fucking insane. I will never get over that.
I agree with you. They changed the entire dynamic and to the point to where Jared Leto was so fucking pissed. He made a big deal. But anyway, we're kind of getting off the subject because, yes, that movie suffered the same fucking thing, but in a different way.
Yes.
Whatever happened at Disney with the reshoots, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I don't understand. I don't know how. See, here's my thing. Let me just say this. How do you because the trailers all came out way after those reshoots were already
in the can.
Yeah. So I don't understand why you put out trailers that have all this shit that's not in your movie unless you
Sorry.
unless you specifically pick out you specifically find and pick out the scenes that you think will sell the movie the most, regardless of whether or not they're in the movie. I find that very condescending.
Welcome to Disney.
I think
of course they did that.
Of course they did. You're absolutely right, and it's fucking bullshit. And we all just sit here.
Take that up with Mickey Mouse because he is not fun to go up against.
We all just
throw down with Mickey Mouse.
We all just sit here and we make excuses because it's Star Wars, and we go, well, but I love Star Wars.
Oh no, I'm not making an excuse. I agree with you. That's a ridiculous ploy, and I hate when people do that. But like I said, I was appreciative of the fact that I still felt like we got a movie that had the same overall tone. I
don't know what that means, because half the shit's not even possible in the movie. You know, that fucking TIE fighter thing is ridiculous. That shit, like the TIE fighter, fucking TIE fighter, that fucking shit. There's no way that's even in the. It could even happen. It couldn't even fucking happen.
I know, Cyrus.
The shit where they're, she's running and she's got the hard drive with the data. Nope. It's fucking possible. Couldn't even fucking happen. It's not even possible. And yet it's in the trailer. Oh, here's Darth Vader on the Death Star. Krennic goes, the power is immeasurable. None of that fucking shit's in the movie, but don't worry, we're cool with it because it fits the same feeling. Yeah, whatever.
I understand.
And like I said, we're just going to differ on this one.
How do we differ? How are you okay with it?
Because like I said, it's still the same tone of the movie. Yeah. Plus the fact I'm not sitting there looking at my watch. I'm not really looking at my watch, but looking at my watch going, all right, well, let's see. This scene hasn't shown up that was in the trailer. Guess I know what's about to happen now, because I can't tell you how many fucking times that's happened to a movie. And I hate that. I hate when they use part of stuff from the third act of a movie in the goddamn trailer, and you're sitting there the entire time going, obviously Tony Stark's about to show up and do this line because it hasn't shown up in the there it is. Well, I already knew that, called that shot because that was coming.
It's annoying.
I hate that shit.
You know what I hate?
That's why I was fine with this.
You know what I hate? I hate getting I hate getting to the end of a movie going
and not saying shit you were expecting.
Right, and saying, hey, this movie's not over yet because I still haven't seen this scene and 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 this scene.
So you and I are different on that. Okay, I got it.
The movie's not over. Don't worry, guys, because we still haven't seen 15 fucking scenes that were in the trailer. They're not. It's not in the movie. The movie's over.
False advertising.
I take your point.
It is false advertising. Thank you.
You are not wrong, Cyrus. You are not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong, and I don't understand the apologist bullshit that goes on because it's fucking Star Wars.
I'm not apologizing for it. I just told you that's what I'm ridiculous
fine with. Ploy. It just didn't bother me as much.
You are a Star Wars fan, and you are entitled to be a Star Wars fan, but you are making excuses for shit that has no fucking excuse.
I don't know. I just know a lot of movies do this, and it just
that's horse shit. That is not an excuse.
Didn't. I know it's not. I'm not using it as one. It just didn't bug me. I think that your feelings are totally valid. It just didn't bother me that way.
You know what? Your feelings are totally valid too.
No,
I agree.
Not you. Shut up. I'm talking to her.
Fuck you too.
Not Eugene. Eugene is wrong.
Eugene's doesn't matter.
Eugene.
All right. Eugene, so moving on. We're obviously on different sides of the coin on this one. Obviously,
you're on different sides of the country.
Yeah, no joke. Okay, so anyway, we get back. I like the fact that the rebellion was not unified. I've also heard some people, talk shit about that. They're like, a bunch of them sound like they're a bunch of pussies. They're all like, they built an ultimate weapon. We might as well surrender. Yes. If someone built a weapon that could blow up an entire goddamn planet, there are people who are going to go.
I got to be right back. Sorry, I'll be right back.
Maybe the Empire's not so bad after all.
I felt like that was realistic.
So yeah, I liked that. And I like the fact that, we got the name why it's Rogue One. It was their call sign because they were basically going rogue. I thought the entire scene of their plan on trying to how to get the information, from about the Death Star out of this, central location. I thought all that was fine. I thought all that really went really well. I'm trying to stall right now because I really want to get Sai's opinion about it. But yeah, so we show up. I also like the idea of this planet, this entire planet encased in this force field.
Yeah.
And just having one central location to keep people from going in and out.
Sorry
of, so.
Can I make a comment? When they did
yeah.
the whole thing about what's your call number or whatever, and he has to say Rogue One, it felt a lot like when you watch Doctor Who and they say Doctor Who. You know what I mean?
I didn't mind the Rogue One thing.
It just made me chuckle because I was like, ha, 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 he said it.
What do you think, Jay? Did that bother you?
What?
When they said, Rogue One,
figured out why it was Rogue One.
They said the name of the movie,
Not. It didn't bother me too much, but to get it in there, I mean, that is one scene that they actually showed in the trailer that I'd already saw that they didn't omit. So.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well,
so I knew that was coming.
Bravo to Disney for not editing out a fucking scene.
Well, they had to keep that in. That was the aha moment.
That's true.
You have to get that plug, that name in there.
Did that? Hey, Eugene, did it bother you that scene was actually in the movie?
No, I was expecting it.
You're sitting there. Oh, well, check that one off.
Yep, I sure did. Checked it off. We were saying, Sai, the fact that the rebellion was not all on board, like they were fighting amongst themselves.
Very much. There's a lot in this movie that I like. Okay, and the plot doesn't necessarily make 100% sense, but the whole dynamic where the rebellion isn't this unified, I really like the complexity. I like when they dirty it up.
Yeah, me too.
I like that very, very much. I like how much this movie adds to the concept of what the rebellion is. And like you were talking about where he shoots that guy in the beginning and he's kind of conflicted with his whole mission. And they're conflicted about what his mission needs to be. And then when it's like they're all talking, they're conflicted about what their mission is as a collective. And, there's all this frustration. And I thought that was great. I was like, okay, now that's what I want. I want a war.
Realistic. It felt like something that would actually happen.
That's what I really wanted from this movie. I wanted this to be a war story that was messy and was dark and different. And this movie wasn't dark. It was a little bit messy, but not necessarily always messy in a good way. But in this particular instance of what you're talking about, I agree. That was good. And it contributed something very positive to the overall Star Wars universe. It turned what I don't like, a lot of times, especially with the first three movies that we've seen, it's basically good guys and bad guys, right? And the prequels, good guys and bad guys, but you kind of see a little bit of duality because of what happens with Anakin. So you see that.
Mm-hmm.
This movie did a really good job of kind of bridging that, of saying, hey, there's a lot of duality. It's not as clean cut as white hats and black hats,
Right.
And I like that. There was a lot to like in the movie. That's why I said I really would like to see this other edit. I really would like to see it.
Me too.
I think Disney fucked up because I think the first edit of this movie with the real music and with the real edits was a lot better. I don't understand what the deal was.
You never know.
I think it was too dark for them, and they said that it's not going to sell enough tickets to little kids.
Probably.
I think that's exactly what.
That's 100% possible. They almost cut out the most important musical number in Little Mermaid for that reason.
It wasn't going to be dark enough, to be honest with you, because if we had got the scenes where they were running on the beach and maybe actually escaped, not jumping too far ahead here, but I would have enjoyed that less if we. Okay, so let's just keep going because we're gonna get there anyway.
Well, there's nobody saying they escaped. We don't know what would happen.
No, I agree. No one said they escaped, but we at least saw them running out of the base with plans. We saw them running out on the beach.
Right. And what's funny is the movie ends, I think, the same way it would have ended with the other one.
Yep.
Because they end up on the beach. Right?
Yeah.
They might have.
I don't think it would have been less dark.
So we get there, we have this huge battle on the beach, which, by the way, I love the fact we actually got to see. I mean, when I know we got to see AT-ATs on Endor.
I love AT-AT.
But seeing them on the beach, I thought was phenomenal.
So cool.
The battle scenes were awesome.
I'm not disagreeing. The guerrilla warfare mixed with the starfighter warfare was legit.
I was jumping up and down in my seat. I was driving the guy next to me crazy.
It was legit.
I was so excited.
When all the fucking big ass Carillion cruisers fucking warped in and they're right there now. It was like,
I think I said out loud to the theater, "Oh shit, they brought the whole fleet." Like I thought for sure it was just going to be, all right, let's send a couple of X-wings and see what we can do. But when they showed up in force, I was like, "Oh damn, this is going to be awesome."
It was good. That was
so good.
Yeah. Now I don't watch the cartoon, but I know there was a lot of references. They called out one of the commanders on the when they were on the base. The little droid that's really big in the cartoon, he was seen for just like half a second or so.
Apparently, the ship
apparently made just like it was down in the bottom left hand corner or something. You had to really look for it to see it, but it was there. But one of the ships that's really big in the cartoon series, the Carillion. Was it Corvette, the Carillion Corvette? I'm sorry, the Hammerhead Corvette. That's apparently a big ship in that Star Wars universe. So, like, apparently everyone who was like really big into it, when they called it up specifically to do the job, everyone was like, "going, oh shit, it's there." Which, by the way, I thought was an awesome plan, and to see it, I knew exactly what they were going to do with it when they disabled that ship. I thought, "Oh shit, they're going to run it into the gate," but I didn't realize they were going to chop another fucking Star Destroyer in half to do it, which I thought was even better.
That was really cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get there, they get to the plans. What did you think about the Death Star firing as much as it did? In the way that it did.
I will say this. We're going to get back to a comparison between this and episode 7.
Okay.
The destruction that was shown in this movie was much more necessary than that bullshit we saw in episode 7 with that thing they did, the Star Killer base or whatever.
Right.
That didn't even make sense to me. That was like, well, we're just going to have another fucking giant Death Star. That really was like, and they blow up the planets, and it just seemed, it didn't fit to me. It seemed weird. Now, maybe they'll clarify that in episode 8. I don't know. But the stuff that happened with the Death Star in this movie made sense. They didn't use the Death Star for no reason, and they didn't use the full power of the Death Star. They were testing it. Of course, they're going to.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
They're going to test it. And they hadn't done a full test until New Hope when they blow up Alderaan. So that was their full test. So it made sense. It actually fit into the escalation of testing. I felt like that was fine. I thought it was really cool looking too, by the way.
Oh yeah. I love it.
It
was like a slow motion. Yeah, it was just it was awesome.
When they had the Death Star as an eclipse over the sun, and
that was badass.
Really cool looking. Yeah, again, I gotta reiterate: anybody that's listening to this that thinks that I just hated this movie, you're wrong. I did not hate the movie. There is as much shit that I liked as I didn't like in this movie.
So we've already mentioned everyone dies. Now, the way that they die, the first one was, I guess, I don't remember the exact order. I guess it was
the robot dies first.
Body.
Yeah.
Okay, it was K2 that died first. Yeah, that hit the feels. Like,
yeah, that was rough.
Number one, he went out in a badass way.
It told you what was about to happen.
Yes, you knew it was going to happen. It was just like, okay, he's obviously not going to make it. But he's not going to make it. They're going to sacrifice him. Okay, I got it. Sucks that we're going to lose him because he's an awesome character.
Yeah, and he went out like,
and then I think
he went out like a fucking badass hero. You know.
Yeah, and then we lost, which we hadn't mentioned before. Body, the pilot, he was doing his thing, which was kind of cool.
I didn't even really care about the pilot. I'll be honest with you.
No,
he was kind of a throwaway. I really didn't like him that much.
I thought he was all right.
I didn't really get it.
And then we lose. Yeah. And then we lose Donnie Yen's character, and that was badass the way that he went. I love the fact that he was definitely force sensitive, like, because you weren't sure, but that he had those moments, like when he said, did he have the face of a killer? And he's like, no, he doesn't. And because he was like, well, I can feel that he's about to kill someone. That was a big scene.
He was a good character. He was a really good character.
He was a great character. I love the idea of these Jedi, or not Jedi, but these Force monks that they weren't Jedis, but they were definitely in tune to the Force.
I really, really hate that we're not going to get any more movies with him and his buddy. In fact, I will say this: I really would have liked to have seen like a trilogy with these characters.
Absolutely.
I really would have liked that.
Donnie Yen's character is probably my favorite, right behind the robots.
Yeah. Oh, he was great.
Yeah,
he was
let's
great.
get a backstory just on the droid. How about that?
Yeah, no shit, right? Like, how much more could we have expanded on that? I mean, come on. And Donnie, I mean, there's so much meat to the story with all these characters.
Really well written characters. They did a really good job on that.
I think that's one of the things that I like about the movie, that I admire, that they were willing to invest so much in the characters and then let them go.
Absolutely. And that's a lot. That's a lot for Disney, because if they see characters that they think people are going to like, they don't like to let them go because they want to use them forever and ever.
Oh, yeah.
So I appreciated that. They're all about that bottom line when it comes down to it. But I think they did a good job of really letting the Star Wars people handle this.
I love the fact that I agree. I honestly, I understand what y'all were saying. I would like to see more about these characters who were willing to kill them all. Because I really think that would have kind of been a cop out.
Let me ask you a question. What the fuck was up with that crystal that she wore around her neck?
I don't know.
That was a Kyger crystal.
Oh, why? What was the point?
Right.
What was the point of all that?
Crystals are what powered the Jedi's lightsabers. It was the power source of the Death Star. That's what he was using to create, the Death Star laser.
That was the whole point.
Did she have that when she was a kid?
Yeah,
her mom.
Remember, mom gave it to her.
Her mom gave it to her, and it seemed like it was going to have this deep significance. And it was another disappointment.
Yeah, that felt a little weird, because it felt like at some point that was going to become like a big deal, and that just didn't.
Well, you know what? We haven't mentioned Felicity Jones and her character. Did y'all like Jen Erso? I liked her. I thought she did a good job.
A lot.
I've seen a lot of people who have expressed some concern about how her motivations don't make any sense, and how it seems like there was some major changes as far as what went on, between the trailer and the movie itself, as far as what her motivations actually were. I'm not going to speculate on that. I don't know what the original script was, but did I have any problems with her? No, I didn't. I liked her. I didn't have any problems with her. In fact, I liked her more than I liked Rey.
Really?
And my problem with Rey is that we don't know enough about Rey.
We'll know soon.
Yeah, I need more information because what I've seen doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I love Ray, and that makes me excited to learn more about her.
Yeah,
I think I'm just gonna fall more in love with her.
What we got was the full picture of what we were gonna get with with Jen. So
that's the thing. You got to know. You knew everything about her. You knew her background. You knew her connection to the story. You knew all of it just going into it. Yeah. So it made a little bit more sense. You don't know that about Ray yet,
right? And I sympathized. She was abandoned, and you know, so I liked her. I liked Jen. I don't have any problems with Jen. I know that there are people that don't necessarily understand all of her motivations and everything, but you know how like 1 minute she's like, you know, one way, and then the next minute she's another way as far as the rebellion and all that, you know. But I didn't really have a problem with it. They got to move the story along. I'm fine.
Well, I mean, at some point when everybody is gone, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, I get it. It's fine. Her dad died. Her motivations are going to change. Okay?
Yeah. I'm cool. I think, and see, I felt that was she was not into the rebellion because, you know, she felt Saw basically used her or, you know, just let her go. And of course he was trying to explain that, you know, he was doing the best thing for her. And then she sees the video of her dad basically saying, you know, I did what I did, you know, to protect you in the universe. I need you to.
Yeah, and by the way, Mads Mikkelsen, God, what a good actor!
He did a good job. He did a great job.
He's a world-class fucking actor. Like, I am so glad he's being in all these shows and movies and video games now. He's going to be in the new Hideo Kojima game, Death Stranding. I don't know if you've seen anything about it. Oh, he's fucking great. I don't know what it is about him, but he's so fascinating. I just love watching him act. You know. But hey, Lainey, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, God. You know. Anyway, so all of our main characters die, including our main bad guy.
Everybody fucking dies.
All of them.
Yeah, everyone dies. Almost.
Even Krennic dies.
Yes.
And by the way, they did it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep jumping in.
No, go ahead.
They did an explanation. There's a scene in A New Hope where they're all around the big round table, all the different leaders, like the different high people in the Empire, and Darth Vader walks in with Mothma, and there's an empty chair, and that's Krennic's chair.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They did some really cool stuff. That's why I'm saying I don't hate them. I don't hate the movie.
Opening crawl for the movie. God, this movie fits right in.
It changes so much. You know,
yeah.
Especially if you watch the end of this movie and then watch the beginning of the next one.
Yeah.
It changes so much. I remember watching A New Hope going, why are they attacking the ship? And what the hell? Like I couldn't understand exactly what happened before this, you know? Like how long
I appreciated that. It does, like they did it's so like pleasing that it just fits right in like a little puzzle piece.
It really is important.
It really is. I love it.
I think if you have kids, this is the missing piece that attaches these movies together.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
It's required viewing. It's not necessarily the best Star Wars movie, but it does have enough in it and enough that's necessary. So
I wish they'd just give me a Star Wars and explain what happened to Jar Jar.
Shut up with Jar Jar.
Well, Jar Jar, that piece of shit.
It's an enigma.
He fucked everything up in episode 2, right?
I think he went on David Carradine with his tongue.
Oh my god, Jar Jar.
Three is when the Emperor convinces him to.
Was that 3?
Yeah, that's when he gives him unlimited.
What a fucking jackass! He should have assassinated Jar Jar right after he did that. Why didn't they? I don't understand. I don't know. Whatever.
Why he was a puppet.
What a dumbass.
He did exactly what he needed to do. He needed him to step up and. I mean, was that the second? I thought it was the third.
I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? It's
so we lose all of our main characters. And they're like, should we fire on the rebel fleet? And Tarkin, once again, we see Tarkin again. No, Vader will take care of it. And then we see just
the payoff.
Now you could talk about fan service and how maybe sometimes it's too much. Oh my God! When his Star Destroyer like freaking just pulls out of hyperspeed and like literally the fucking rebellion ships are crashing into it, and then that scene is just perfect with all those troops, and it's just completely black, and you just hear one dark breath, and then the lightsaber ignites, and you're just like, oh shit.
God, that was so good.
I talked about this on another podcast, the Post Game Report. We had a whole show that we did where we talked about Star Wars, and everybody agreed that this is the moment that this movie became a horror film. It became Star Wars versus Jason, and
kind of
Darth Vader was fucking Jason Voorhees. It was fucking epic. Like,
yes, it was.
There's nobody, I don't give a shit who you are, there's nobody that can criticize the last 5 minutes of that movie.
Well, there's one part.
Well, there's one part.
Shut up.
But the scene with Darth Vader is immaculate.
Oh yes. I've heard some people even say, well, then if he was so great, why did he like fucking let the ship get away? I'm like, and I think the explanation, of course, you're talking about being a Star Wars fanboy when you try to explain stuff away, but he wasn't worried about it. Like, he's just like, well, I'm toying. He was fucking toying with those rebels. Like, that was nothing to him. He was having fun fucking killing those rebels.
Hell yeah.
He wasn't worried about him getting away. That was a fluke. And then he's like, all right, well, let's go chase him down to finish business.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not ready to sit here and go through all the, who knows? I'm not going to sit here and
but no, that last scene was just awesome. And then we get to the absolute final thing, and where we differ on Tarkin, where I think Tarkin worked for the most part. I think they could have done him better, but I think Tarkin worked for the most part. I really was hoping that they were just going to I don't know. I don't know what I wanted. I think I really just wanted them to maybe hand Leia the chip, and we see her hand, we see the back of her head, we see something. We just don't see her.
Yeah. I didn't mind that either.
You didn't mind?
I really didn't.
Even though Tarkin was less Uncanny Valley for me the second time I watched it, she was still just really Uncanny Valley.
You know what I like about Lainey?
What?
Lainey punches. Yeah, Lainey lets it. She rolls. She's like, you know what? I love Star Wars.
I got to see Leia. I'm always down to
exactly.
See Leia.
You know what, Lainey? And that's fine. And I'm not going to sit here and criticize you for having that opinion.
And I will say this too, because with Leia, it's so brief. Like the camera on her face is so brief that it really did not really bug me one way or the other, because we didn't have to keep coming back to it. My brain really didn't even have time to sit there and pick it apart, because it just happens and then it's gone.
Do me a favor. The next time you see Parker, I want you to tell him.
Oh God.
I want you to tell him exactly what you just said. Mm-hmm. And I want you to tell Parker that if he doesn't agree with it, he needs to talk to me about it, because because you are absolutely entitled to that opinion.
Well, it just wasn't as distracting, I felt like, as the other one.
Well, also I want to say, since we've lost Carrie Fisher now.
Oh God.
I'm fine. They have to do what they have to do.
I feel like, okay, can I share something? Because I feel like I jinxed it. Because when that happened, I saw it Christmas Day. And when it happened, she was still in the hospital. And I just remember this little voice in the back of my head thinking, if she goes, this is going to be a much bigger deal than it is right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like I jinxed it. Like I really do. And then the next day, she was gone.
You know what, Lainey? We all love her.
I love her so
we
much.
we appreciate, because of the contribution she's given to us. We appreciate that.
So
in a way,
I liked it. It was nice.
It was sad.
To have Blake there for me. It made me feel very, very sad, but very hopeful.
Yeah.
At the same
So
time,
Eugene, I take back my objection to Leia. I'm fine with Leia.
Like, was it ridiculous? Absolutely. Can you totally tell that she's CGI? Absolutely. But
Yeah,
like
but
it's so brief.
I'm fine with it now because we don't have her anymore. This is all we can get.
I know.
And
okay, so since we brought her up, speculate here. How do you feel your reaction is going to be next December?
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Oh
I can't even think too hard about it.
An entire year before we see her.
Oh my!
I don't even I can't even think about it. I don't know.
Let me just say this. Yes, I give Rudy a hard time, and I was like,
"That's just fun to do."
I was like, as soon as it happened, I posted something to Rudy. I was like, "Hey, don't worry, they finished their scenes." You know, 'cause I know he really cares about the movie, and I was being kind of a dick about it. But
I didn't care.
Imagine that.
But the fact is, we all love Carrie Fisher, you know, and she and her mom, and that's unbelievable.
God,
yeah,
it's so horrible. And I have so much sympathy for Carrie Fisher's daughter, you know, and what she's going to be going through.
Poor Billy Lord. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So yes, when we see episode 8, there's going to be, you know how like The Dark Knight had like, yes, it was a fantastic movie. Nobody's saying it wasn't. And yes, Heath Ledger was a
but
great
did people
Joker.
react differently because of the fact that it was post-mortem?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Episode 8 is going to be special for us.
It's going to be very special.
It's going to be special in a way we've never had. And we're all going to be crying our fucking eyes out. And you
Absolutely.
know, even you, Jay, even you, especially you.
Oh, she'll pop up on the screen.
I'm very emotional.
Jay will be bawling like a little bitch, and we will be consoling him. And you know what? It's fine, because Carrie Fisher, yes, she was not perfect.
But she was beautiful in all of that imperfection.
She was hilarious and great
for people with mental illness and people going through addiction. Like,
exactly,
she was a huge voice, and I appreciate her for that.
Absolutely. And she was humble, and she was always self-deprecating, and she was always realistic, and she was so fucking smart.
God, just a perfect cinnamon roll of a human being. Just
Absolutely. And that's why Mark Hamill was so devastated.
I know. He broke my heart. He was so upset.
I mean, you know, he loved her. Like,
that was his best girl, and I love that.
I mean, there was a time where he really wanted a relationship. Like, he wanted, you know, and it didn't really work out. So their connection's been around forever. But anyway, this is all of our connection. We're all connected in this way. So yeah, episode 8's going to be fucking emotional.
It's going to be a lot.
Yes. If you don't cry at episode 8, you're a fucking asshole.
You are absolutely dead inside.
I just thought I'd throw that out there because I'm like,
let me ask you this: are they going to change the story? Like, are they going to have to do something different?
No, because she already filmed all of her scenes and everything. I don't think.
I know, but she already filmed all of her scenes. But the question is from that point, do we just write her off into the sunset? And she does her bit for King and Country in the next movie, whatever that might be, and then we just don't see her anymore.
And
we don't speak of her anymore.
The other day, though,
or they're going to have to.
Do we get into death?
They're going to have to give her some kind of a send off. Okay,
they are.
There's going to have to be something that happens in that movie that really kills all of us inside, like that actually takes a stake and just like stabs us in the heart. You know. There's gonna have to be some bullshit. Like, remember, like
I'm gonna feel that so much worse than I felt Han Solo.
Do you remember when that dude died? when they for the Fast and the Furious.
Paul Walker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they went back and they changed the movie and they added those scenes where they replaced his face and did all that stuff just to like add complete closure to the character. They're going to do something, I'm telling you, and it's going to kill us.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Episode 8 is going to be the best movie. It's going to be the best Star Wars.
Eugene and I were talking about it, and the fact that we think that, I mean, for Kylo Ren's character too, the loss of both parents. That's going to be really
you might be right. It might be what turns him back from the dark side.
That's going to be really interesting because he can feel that force. Like, I just think it's going to be really, if they use that, I think that they can really take that and have a lot of really interesting motivation and like internal conflict for his character.
Yeah.
Episode 8 is going to be so good.
I'm excited.
Sure so.
I'm really excited. I'm really sad, but I'm really excited.
I just hope that the trailer is not too different from the
movie. Well, we've been going on for quite a while, but that's pretty much our wrap up of Star Wars. Let me go ahead and just end this real quick by asking, after watching Episode 7 and after watching this, are you still like? What is your feeling about the future of Star Wars? Are you still 100% down? Do you have some reservations? Sai, thoughts?
I don't know, because I don't know how much of it's related to this movie either. Honestly, Carrie Fisher dying is a huge blow to Star Wars.
Huge.
They've already killed Harrison Ford's character off. Okay. Now we've literally lost her. Okay. So it's up to Mark Hamill. And then that's it. So I don't know the longevity of Star Wars. I really don't know. And I don't know, and I really don't know, to be honest, how long it should go on. You know? How long should Star Wars go on? Because it shouldn't go on forever.
No.
I don't think so.
It's not infinite, for sure.
Right,
it's definitely not infinite.
So I'm not saying that I feel like Star Wars is... to get back to the movie that we're talking about, I think Star Wars is helped by Rogue One. I don't think Rogue One is as good as it could have been. I think there's some problems with Rogue One, but I think Rogue One got the job done. From what it needed to do, I think it did do that. So it's fine. It fits into the continuum, and it's okay. It didn't hurt Star Wars.
No.
So as far as that goes, Disney's taking care of the job. Okay, they've done 2 good Star Wars movies. They did one that wasn't as good as it could have been, and they did one that maybe pandered a little too much. But both of those probably are fine. So the next Star Wars is where we really find out. Episode 8 is really going to tell us everything we need to know.
When are we getting that Han Solo movie?
I don't know. Do you really?
Which that was going to be my next question. So I think we're still okay with the next one in the series, and the idea of the other anthology movies.
I'm down for this movie. Made me excited for more little spin-offs like this. I liked it.
Yeah. Well,
I'm excited for
the
that.
bar's not too high because Rogue One didn't overdo it. It hit it right in the middle. So the Han Solo thing could work if it's a lighthearted kind of thing or something. I don't know. Maybe there's some way they can make that into like more of a comedy or something. I don't really know.
Well, I mean, it's got Han and Lando. I think it'll be pretty funny.
Yeah, it could be fun.
I'm hoping we start getting because you know how Marvel has done it's not just a superhero movie anymore. They're now, we have the superhero, heist movie, which was Ant-Man. We have the superhero spy movie, which was Soldier. You know what I'm saying? We're getting different flavors of this. I'm really hoping we get more of that in the Star Wars universe.
I agree with that.
Me too.
Yeah, and I keep bringing this up to Sai, because he's brought it up to me as well. You really enjoyed this movie or the previous one or whatever, we're still going to keep getting Star Wars for quite a while. So we're going to get a dud here.
Oh, yeah.
or maybe not a dud, but we may get one that, just doesn't really hit us like it hits everyone else. In this case, like Rogue One kind of did for Cy. He still greatly enjoyed it. It just, greatest movie, whatever, which is fine because all we have to do is wait one more year to get another Star Wars movie. And that makes me happy that, if we do have a year, we do have a movie that comes out, we can just this isn't the last thing we're going to get. And, kind of like what we thought we were going to have with episode 3. Rudy said something that I completely agreed with. After watching the last 5 or 6 minutes of this movie, I'd like to see a Darth Vader movie.
Oh God, yes.
I don't.
What Vader
so.
did between 3 and 4.
I don't think so.
I love Vader.
I don't think we need another Darth Vader movie because
we had 3.
Dude, we had 6.
Well, okay. Yes and no.
I mean, honestly, this movie filled the gap. We're fine. Darth Vader needs to be
maybe not necessarily focusing just on him, but I would like to see him show up if they're good. Now, I don't want him to just shoehorn in to everything, but if it's during the same time period where it would be right,
I'd like to see Darth Vader show up in all of these movies they do that are like the Han Solo movie and
all the prequel. Well, not prequels, but prequels. The little.
I think that's fine, but I don't think Darth Vader needs a movie. I think that's fine. Darth Vader needs to show up here and there. He needs to be this, boogeyman. Darth Vader's the boogeyman.
He kind of is.
That's a good point.
I like that. I will say this. I think this movie made me very, very excited for I love the casting in this movie. Sorry, Molly, it's midnight here and there's like a million fireworks and Molly thinks that we're all going to die. But I loved the inclusive casting. I thought it looked great. I love like these really great, rich new characters and new stories that they're writing. So that gives me a lot of hope for where the franchise is going to go from here. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Jay, thoughts? Nope, I guess I don't know if Jay's still there. Night here, so we've got fireworks going on outside, so you may have even heard some, here and there.
Well, Happy New Year as well.
Yeah,
Happy New Year.
We finally made. Hey, Jay's back. Jay,
there he is.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What are your final thoughts?
Yeah.
It was a good movie. I mean, I think I enjoyed Force Awakens a little bit more, but I still liked this movie. I mean, tied a lot of things together, answered a lot of questions, or explained a lot of things.
Forward to the other anthology movies, the Han Solo and.
The only thing that bums me out is that they were supposed to have a Boba Fett one that they canceled.
Yeah.
So
I would still like to see a Boba Fett.
Why would we not get a Boba Fett movie? It's like where's our Obi-Wan movie? Come on.
They could put that back on.
Oh yes, I would love to see an Obi-Wan movie. Now, okay, here's a question. How would you want to see I really need to wrap up the show, but I have to ask this question. If we got an Obi-Wan movie, where do you want to see it set? Like, do you want to see it 3 and 4? Do you want to see it like spanning maybe part of the time during the prequels and then that time between 3 and 4? Like, what are your thoughts?
You know what I want to see in an Obi-Wan movie? I'm going to be completely honest with you.
All right.
I want to see Obi-Wan after episode 3 go through a bunch of shit that ties into that fucking cartoon so that he can end the movie with a final battle against Darth Maul.
Can we also have a Darth Maul movie then?
No, Darth Maul's been in the cartoons. Darth Maul's come back. I want all of that to culminate in a final battle with Obi-Wan and Darth Maul in a movie.
Okay. All right. Let's do
That
it.
would be
Let's
cool.
let's have the rematch of all rematches for Star Wars. That'd be fucking awesome, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I really need to watch that cartoon series. All right, let's move on to picks and pans just real quick because, like I said, we're running a little long. Does anyone have a pick or pan that's not
Not Carrie Fisher
my
related?
pick? Do what?
Oh yeah, that's a serious pan.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that isn't Carrie Fisher related.
I was gonna, yeah. My pick right now is Westworld. I'm about halfway through it. It's wonderful. Everything you've heard about it. If you don't like sci-fi, may not enjoy it. I don't know. Christy's not a huge sci-fi person, and she kept getting sucked into it while I was watching it. She started, it's one of those things. It's like, oh, I'm not really watching it. And then she starts asking questions. Well, who is that? Well, what are they doing? And I'm like, yeah, sure, you're not watching it. Really good, really good show. If you haven't watched Westworld, at least try out the first 2 or 3 episodes and see if you're going to keep going. So,
for me, that's The Man in the High Castle. I just finished season 2 of that.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the show, and I definitely want to see that. So,
yeah, great show.
Lainey, do you have a pick or pan?
Sorry. She's... Now everybody's just letting off all of their leftover fireworks, and Molly is just 100% sure that we are being attacked by the Empire. And why am I not more concerned about this?
Molly's a good dog. Yes, she is.
She is. In fact, she keeps looking at my proton pack and looking at me like, strap this thing on and let's go.
And let's rock.
So she's not messing around.
Did you have a pick or pan for the week, lady?
I do. I have a pick. My pick is actually a delightful little Christmas present that that Christy gave me, which is my mermaid blanket. Molly, it's okay.
When she told me about this, I was like, "Yep, that's completely up Lainey's avenue."
Oh my god, it's the greatest thing I've ever had. I love it. It's literally a blanket that like wraps around my feet and like goes out into this tail, and it looks like a mermaid tail, and I love it. I have used it an embarrassing amount. I am obsessed with it. It is so comfortable.
Oh my god, she gave me the same thing.
Oh my god. But it's really cozy and awesome, and I'm loving it. It's making my life very colorful and whimsical, and it was funny when I got it. I sent a picture to Parker. Or I was trying to explain to him what it was, and he was like, so like you wear it and like you become a mermaid? Like he could not wrap his head around it. So I literally
literally become a mermaid.
Yeah, that's what I told him. Yes, I literally turned into Ariel from The Little Mermaid. But I sent him a picture of it. He's like, oh holy crap. So it's really like a tail. I was like, yes. And so he got a big kick out of it. He thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, I love it. It's wonderful. Nice and cozy.
Very cool. Jay, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
Not really. I haven't got a chance to do a whole lot here recently, and so really just been watching, catch up on Agents of Shields and rewatching episodes of The Shield that was on FX. Really haven't done much else besides work.
Yeah, I've heard good things about The Shield. I just never have gotten into it. I've heard it's a really good series.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It was made by Kurt Sutter that did Sons of Anarchy, so.
Cool. Wrap up for our special episode on Rogue One. I have a feeling this is probably, like I said, because we're going to be getting a Star Wars movie pretty much every year, this may become kind of our annual tradition is to
I'm down.
Because we are such big Star Wars fans of the movies and such. We have to talk about it. We have to decompress. We have to.
Some people think I'm not because I dared criticize this.
No, there's a difference.
I was like, how dare you speak ill of Star Wars?
You can be a fan, a huge fan, a diehard fan, without being one of these crazy, what we call stans, all right? Well, you don't have to stand for something. you can absolutely love something and still be able to say, you know what? I wasn't super crazy about that. I didn't think that made a lot of sense.
The thing is, I care about Star Wars.
Absolutely, you do.
And if I didn't care, I wouldn't bother to criticize. I would just go with the flow and just be like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Instead of voicing my concern, because I do care. And I think more people should be willing to voice their concern and not feel beaten down by this like horde of people that are like, you either agree or you're not a real fan. And it's like,
I hate that.
It's like, dude, a fan is somebody that cares. We are not going to agree. That's the whole point. That's why we have discussions, because we're not going to agree. If somebody just agrees with everything, they don't care. You know? Anyway, I'm done. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's all good, dude. So, like I said, this will probably become an annual tradition where we have to decompress about our Star Wars feelings. So,
Jay, if you had to rate Rogue One on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you put Rogue One?
7, maybe.
I think 7 is a really good number.
That's a really good rank. Yeah, I think that's very fair.
I think that's absolutely fair. Even with all the criticisms I have, I agree. I'm going to go with a 7 also.
I'd give it an 8.
You know what? Shut up. But Jay, very good job. Eugene, 8 is fine too. If you're more okay with some of the things that bothered the rest of us, I understand why you'd go with an 8. So 8, 7, somewhere in the middle there, that's fine.
I just understand those fuckers. They'd be like, "Oh, it was definitely a 2."
Now I have a serious question, and I hate to keep prolonging this, but this is a serious question. Where do you rank this movie?
No, I'm not doing that. I am not fucking putting this into a rank. It's not happening. All right.
I know somebody that said this was better than Empire.
Well, that person's probably an idiot.
I agree. How can it be better than Empire? Are you? But anyway.
This is not okay. This is what I will say. This is not better than any of the original trilogy.
No,
I agree with that.
Of course not.
Although there's people that say
from there.
There are people that hate Return of the Jedi because of the Ewoks and.
No, there's not. People don't.
No, there are. There are some people who generally think that was a horrible movie.
No.
The Ewoks are wonderful, and they can suck it. And I will personally come over there and kick their ass.
Oh, okay.
Leave my Ewoks alone.
All right. I don't agree, but whatever. We all have opinions because we love Star Wars, and that's fine.
And the nice thing is this universe is just going to keep expanding, and there'll be more of it to either find your niche or to just keep going and seeing what else is out there. So
I'm so excited for more original characters and new stories. It's going to be great.
Me too. As always, you can find us on epicallygeeky.com. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. Oh, damn it. I just realized I forgot to do some shit today to get ready for our other show, the Marginally Geeky Show. So we'll be we do have another show, the Marginally Geeky Show. If you are into books, we just finished reading Ready Player One. We're going to be doing our discussion about that here coming up, and then announcing our next book. We also have a new show that just joined the network.
Yeah, we
by
do.
Lady and Parker. I had to change the name to Epic Rhythm and Brews. But it looks like it got stuck at just Rhythm and Brews, so you can just look it up as Rhythm and Brews. And
I am not mad.
So,
hey, if
just
y'all
a
ever
little
want
pressure for you, you'll just have to do twice as much work to basically drown out that other group.
If y'all ever want somebody drunk on there with you, let me know. I'll be on it.
We got it. Well, I mean,
I love both
Rhythm and Brews.
I love both you and Parker.
I know.
Very much.
But it's a super fun show. We just had our first episode put out. We're going to be recording our next one here really soon. We're going to have that up ASAP. So check us out. Leave us some feedback. We're really excited to get started.
I will do
If
that.
you ever want to do an episode about Weird Al, I'm your guy.
We might actually. We have discussed like parody songs and stuff.
By the way, when you get a chance, please remember to thank Parker for his service to this country.
I will. We were discussing his service to the country the other day.
We'll return next week with our normal stuff. We actually were doing all planning before the beginning of the show, talking about our upcoming episodes. So we'll be back to our normal schedule then. So where can we find you on the internet, Cyrus Martin?
Well, you can find me at videogamevirus.com or YouTube. Look for Cyrus Martin or Video Game Virus. I have decided to give up my pursuit of arguing with PC master racers and all that. So
God.
I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done with all the drama. Now I'm just talking about games and having a good time. So
nice.
I've dropped the drama.
Lady, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at It's a Laney-Bird, and you can also find me on the Epic Rhythm and Brews podcast.
Nice. Jay, where can we find you online?
I think it's 1JRed on Instagram and Epically JRed on Twitter.
And you can find my wacky adventures online at Optimus Gene on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.